I've just been rolling, like knitting. I'm just embracing the chaos. Hope it works out. I wonder if future me will look back at this and be like, what did you do? Hi, welcome back. My name is Carson and this is my YouTube where I chat about knitting, and today we are indeed chatting about knitting. I have a podcast for you. I have so much to talk about, at least it feels that way. I have like a whole pile of stuff, so let's get into it. Hi friends, how are you? We are here yet again with lots of fun stuff. I hope you've all been well. I personally have been knitting a lot. My knitting mojo, dare I say, is back. And I have, like I said, a lot of exciting stuff that I am excited about. First off, though I always forget this part, let's talk about what I'm wearing, because I am wearing a knit today. This is my outline tank by Jessie May. I always want to say Jessie Made, but it's Jessie May, I think. I'll put everything like somewhere down here and also in the description box below so you can check out links and whatnot. But I made this top a few years ago. I think I started it at the end of our journey in Washington. Maybe in 2021, the summer of 2021, and it was a lingering whip for a really long time. I knit the body. So this is, first off, details. This is a fingering weight tank top. I knit mine in a blend of cotton linen summer yarn from an indie dyer who sadly is no longer dying, but it's the perfect, it's kind of rough because of the linen, but it's like the perfect breeziness, drape, whatnot. I knit on this for a really long time and then I set it aside because fingering weight tank top, I think at the time I hadn't knit one before and I was like, oh, it's a tank top, like it'll be fast. It's not, because it's fingering weight, which is fine, but I think I just got, it was like going from summer into fall. We were moving back to Texas, or like preparing for that transition of back into Texas, and I wanted to knit on sweaters, so I just put it away. And then I think I ended up picking it back up in like March of 2022 and finishing it. And this always happens to me. I always end off projects at a point where I'm like, oh, this feels like a lot of work. I'm just gonna pause, and then I pause it forever. But then once I pick it back up, I'm like, wait, this was actually took me like 2 days to do, and it was so easy. I really like this tank top because it has a cool, kind of like the name, outline effect right here down the chesticle area. Like straight down the front. You drop stitches actually, and I think it's, yeah, it's on the sides too. Maybe I'll insert like a better video of me wearing it because you can't really see it right now. But it's a really fun technique. It was very scary at first, dropping a stitch and like just hoping that I did everything correctly. But you know, if you set it up correctly, you're good. Just pay close attention to what you need to do before dropping your stitch. But it was really fun because whenever you drop the stitch, you just pull it apart and then it creates this cool outline effect. Oops. It is a little big. Like, I think maybe I should have knit the straps long and tied them. I definitely overestimated maybe my size even, because it's really loose and flowy. Like you saw, it almost just fell off of my body. But I still really like it. I wear this a lot for cover-ups in the summer. Just like, I think I wore it to the beach a couple weeks ago. I had a bikini on and I just put this on top of it and I was like ready to go to the beach. So yeah, I really like this for that particular reason. And it's just fun. Oh, this yarn is, like I said, it's from an Indian dyer who no longer dyes, but it's hand dyed with avocado. So it's this really pale pink. And maybe if I insert a video, you can kind of tell. I had multiple different skeins, and one skein was a little bit darker, like the one I ended on, so it's kind of like two-toned. At the top half, it's light pink, and at the bottom half, it's like a little bit darker pink. But I don't mind it. It just adds character, you know? It's handmade. So that's that. I did it a long time ago, so that was what I remember. Not much. Also, I'm wearing this bandana. My very talented crochet queen cousin Jessie made me. I talked about her in my last podcast, but I'll link her Instagram and stuff down below. She has an Etsy shop too where she sells stuff like this, and I tried to crochet. It was okay. I didn't like fall in love with the process. I just don't really want to take the energy to learn more right now and do it, so I'm glad that I have someone in my life who, you know, makes cool stuff like this that I can buy it from, whatnot. She actually gifted me this one for Christmas though, which was so nice. Oh yeah, and then also I got a mom chop. Can you tell? Yeah, chopped my hair off. I just felt like it already. Into current projects. I actually don't have any finished objects. That is okay though. We don't have to have finished objects all the time. I think my last one was pretty finished object heavy, just because I was making a bunch of little stuff here and there, but I did cast on some new stuff. So let's get into the whips. First off, I will share something that you might have seen before if you watched my last podcast. I'm making some socks. These are called, the pattern is called All the Frills by Summerly Knits, and these are pretty, they look heavily modified, but really it's just this part that's modified, and the rest is just a basic sock. I talked about it pretty extensively, what I did in my last podcast, but just a brief overview. The way I modified these was I folded the cuff, so the frill is at the bottom, and I have like a folded little cuff. And it's so cute. These aren't blocked yet. I finished this sock, I think, in a week, because it was just so much fun, and I loved the beginning was, it's not hard to do. It is a little fiddly though, because as you can see, you have more stitches down here that you're like working with. It was fun. It was different, but then after that, just basic sock, and I really just honed in on the basic. You know, I need, at this point in my life, I need projects where I can just sit and knit and not think about anything. So I finished these really quickly, or this one sock really quickly, and I'm using Birch and Lily's sock yarn in the colorway Alley. Amanda kindly gifted this to me last year, and I love it. I'm surprised it took me so long to knit with it, because I'm having a yellow moment, and these are my yellow socks, and I'm really enjoying them. I am putting them down though. I can show you. I did finish the second one. So I have this little sun. I kind of want to call these my sun socks, because they just, whenever you start, they kind of look like a little sun. I did start this one, but I decided to put it down because I'm working on another fun project which has a deadline. So yeah, I guess that's all I want to say about these. I really, really love them, and I'm excited to finish them, but I am pausing. And you know, last time I think I said I only had one pair of 9-inch circulars. I personally, I'm not sure if y'all knit socks or what type of needles y'all like. I do not like magic loop at all. If I have to do it, I do like a cheating version where it's not even full magic loop. I tried to knit socks in magic loop. I was going to do 2 at a time, and then I was like, you know what, let's just try magic loop socks. And I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Hated it. So that's never happening again. At least in the right now. Where was I going with this? Oh, I was talking about needles. I don't like DPNs personally for socks. I feel like they kind of ladder for me, like all the separate needles where those stitches come together. It kind of makes a weird ladder. I will knit on DPNs for like toys and stuff like that, or if I just absolutely have to, but for socks, stay away. I enjoy 9-inch circulars. I remember whenever I first tried them though, getting used to them was really hard. I felt like my fingers were cramping, just like, and it took me a while, but now I love them. And I think last time I said I only had one pair of 9-inch circulars. I don't. I have 2. I have these bamboo ones. So I did knit my first sock on my Chiagu interchangeable needle set, like the little ones. I love metal needles. When I first started knitting, I never thought I would voluntarily choose to knit with metal needles, because I remember getting some like Susan Bates ones, maybe those are plastic, maybe they're not metal, to start off with, and I was like, oh my gosh, how do I even do this? Which, given I barely knew how to knit, like barely. Yeah, but now I love metal needles. So that is one thing I'm interested in. I knit these with my metal needles, and I loved it. And I put these kind of on hold, but I did put them on my 9-inch bamboo ones, so that way if I wanted to just knit on them, I could. Because I'm using my other needles for a different project I'm about to show. So I do wonder if my gauge will be slightly different. Like, I feel like bamboo may be tighter than my metal needle gauge. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's socks, so I don't think it's gonna matter like that much. But now that I say that, I wonder if future me will look back at this and be like, What did you do? This next project is also a sock. A little backstory though. I am subscribed to Capella Lunar Fibers newsletter. I really love her yarn, Alyssa's yarn. I ordered some for my birthday last year, and I've been knitting socks with it. They're on hold right now as well, but I will continue them. They're my Aviva socks. I don't know if you've seen those before in past podcasts, but she was looking for sample knitters for Flock, and I have never sample knit before. But I was like, you know what? This interests me. The deadline it is kind of sort of far out. It's in August. It felt doable. So I was like, you know what, let's just go and look and see what all patterns she's interested in getting sample knitters for. And there were quite a few sock patterns. I found one though that I already had and I've been wanting to knit. And I was like, this just seems like such a fun way to try out new yarn with like no attachment, because I don't get to keep the socks since they're sample knit. I'll be sending them back to her for Flock, so she could display her yarn in actual pieces, which is fun because I do really love supporting local businesses and indie dyers in whatever way I can, even though right now I'm a little bit tighter on my yarn expenditures. Although spoiler, I did break my yarn band budget situation, kind of. We'll get to that later. So basically, yeah, I applied to sample knit and I was chosen, and I'm very grateful. So I got the yarn this past week. I'm knitting the hibernal socks. These are sample knit for Capella Fibers. This is in her, oh, dang it, where is that? Oh, here we go. I knew I did something with the label. This is in her colorway Pike Place, I believe. Simple sock, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, fingering weight yarn, 399 yards. So yeah, sock yarn, so pretty. Look at all these colors. I'm pretty sure the yarn order for my birthday was in the same pre-order if this is from her Pacific Northwest collection, which I'm pretty sure it is if it's named Pike Place, which is in Seattle. But it's just so pretty. It's almost like yellow as well. Yellow is really on my mind these days. This isn't even yellow, but I'm like imagining it's yellow. So wild. It has pinks and blues, mostly like pastel colors, but there are some speckles of like dark blue in places, which I really like. This is nothing I don't think that I would be bold enough to knit myself. So it's really fun getting to try them out, and like I said, having no attachment. Even though the sock has been really fun to knit, I'm not so concerned about like, is this gonna fit my wardrobe? Am I gonna wear this a lot? Like, it's just fun to knit, and then it'll be going back to her, which is fun because like I won't be at Flock, obviously, but something I made will, so it's just really fun. So more about the actual project. Did I say this? These are the hibernal socks by Summerly Knits. It's like when I first saw this pattern, I thought it was cables, but it's actually faux cables using like very, simple lace work techniques. So let me see if you can zoom in. So you can see there are these like little mock cables that run down, and it's basically like a fancy ribbing. As you can see, in between the mock cables, there are a series of ribs, pearls, and knits. So yeah. These are really fun, and they're pretty addicting to knit on. It is a really long leg, so I'm hoping my timelines, these are due like in August, I believe, so I'm telling myself if I can get this one sock done in June, I can do the next sock in July, and then, flung it on the floor. I can send these off in an appropriate amount of time and not be stressed. Previously, I've kind of sworn off test knitting, I think because I got into a rhythm of wanting to test knit lots of stuff, and then I would apply. And thankfully, I would get stuff, but then I would feel like I was constantly on deadlines, even though I don't think I've ever test knit multiple things at one time. I don't know how people do that. My mind is like, thinking about it. But yeah, just deadlines in general. The tight deadlines, even though sometimes they're not tight. So my rule now is that like if I see something that I really want to do, I gotta think about it. But my number one concern is like, is the timeline doable for me? Like, is there wiggle room? Will I feel stressed? If the answer is yes, I will feel stressed, and like I'm not gonna do it. But this one, I was like, no, this seems really fun, and I'm really glad that I applied, and then I got chosen. So thank you, Alyssa, for my first sample knitting experience. Oh, and then so the way she compensates, I think every company or indie dyer does this differently, although I do think this is a common practice. She will compensate you for, you know, the yarn. I don't know if it's the yarn that you knit is what you get back, but you know, I'm knitting a sock, so I did request some sock yarn for the fall specifically. So yeah, I'm excited. So after I knit these, maybe I'll knit myself some hibernal socks in the sock yarn I'll be getting from her for the sample knit. So, that felt like a ramble, but hopefully I made sense. It's just so pretty. I really love these colors. And I think this too has made me feel more bold to try different colors. As you might can see in my next, well, one of my next items, I guess. Alrighty, so that is that. So yeah, that's the project I'm working on the most right now, probably. And it's pretty easy. It's a 4-row repeat. And looking at the pattern whenever I first bought it, I bought it, like, I think whenever it first came out, and I saw the pattern and I was like, skip, because it looked kind of difficult. But honestly, there were just, like, lots of words on, you know, there were lots of instructions, but what I did not look closely at is there are instructions for every size, so really, it's only a 4-row repeat set of instructions. And she literally says in the pattern, it says, you know, once you do the setup row and the first repeat, like, you'll know exactly what to do. You don't have to look back at this, probably, and I haven't. So that's good. This is something that I can just, you know, watch TV with, work on while I watch TV. I don't have to look at the pattern anymore at the moment for this particular stitch repeat. So yeah, it's good. It's not totally mindless, but it's like on the cusp of mindless with like a little intrigue. All to say, I like the pattern. And I think I started those this past week. And I mean, I think I only have 2 more inches of the leg to knit. I'm not making any modifications since this is a sample knit. And I'm knitting the size medium. 64 stitch cast on. So actually my normal sock size. So that's fun. The next whip I have made very little progress on. I have knit like a few rows more than I did when I last showed you, but it looks pretty much the same. I'll just, you know, pop it up real quick. I don't have to talk too much about it. If you are interested in hearing about more details though, I think I casted this on like right before my last podcast, so I was, you know, pretty excited about it, talking about it. So feel free to check that out if you want to hear more. But this is the Ribbed Lace Raglan. Where's the front? By James N. Watts. And wow, it is a highlighter yellow. It's coming across super yellow in camera. Almost too bright. I don't know if this is super accurate. It's probably not. It's a little darker than this, but I mean, it is definitely a highlighter yellow. I think the name is, I'm using Hobie yarn, Friends 8-4 cotton, whatever the fingering weight cotton is in the Friends line of Hobie's yarn, and it is in the color Lemon Curd. So it's a very bright, happy yellow, and like I said, I'm loving yellow these days. Everything I knit is yellow. I'm seeing yellow, and when the colors aren't yellow, it's just, I have a love affair with yellow. So yeah, I haven't yet split for sleeves, and I think I've knit like a couple more rows. This project is pretty much like a similar vein. It's not mindless. I do have to look at what I'm knitting and kind of like think about the repeat, but I don't have to look at the chart really. I do need to keep up with my rows though. So this is one of those projects where I do have to have my phone out looking at. I have been using, shameless plug, Row Counter. They sponsored me a while back graciously, maybe last year around this time, and you know, they gave me access to the app and just asked for my thoughts in a video, and ever since I started using it, I have not stopped. It has helped me keep up with my projects so much more. It's just easy to like click on it. There you go. You have a row counter, you have a highlighter. Shameless plug. I've been using that app for probably over a year now, and it has helped me keep things straight. So when I say I have to look at my phone, I'm looking at row counter just to keep track of the patterns. But yeah, so it is like a fun, like the name says, ribbed lace. It's a ribbed lace series of super simple, you know, knit 2 together yarn overs in a certain pattern, and yeah. I am still excited for this one. I do kind of see myself wearing this one similarly to the outline tank in terms of like putting it over a swimsuit or something, because it is pretty holy. And I don't love wearing multiple layers in the Texas heat. So yeah, I think this will be like a cover-up situation, but I would like to finish it this summer, so I need to just... I'm not excited about it. It's just sometimes I get really excited about projects and I like put my all into them at the beginning, and then I go to sleep and I wake up and I don't feel the same the next day. And I want to knit something else. Maybe that's the cast-on-itis. I don't know. But yeah, I still want to finish this. It's fingering weight yarn. I'm still interested in making like a white one for the fall, maybe, a long sleeve version. So I need to get this done so I can start planning for the next, if I still to make it. But it's a really good pattern, and it's, you know, it's fun. Fun. Not quite mindless, but like almost. Okay, I think I'm down to my last whip. This one is brand new, but you know, so I kind of teased that I broke my yarn situation budget ban. I don't want to spend a ton of money on yarn right now when I use the majority of what I have, but I realized once I got excited about summer knitting, garments specifically, I don't have a ton of yarn for summer garments. I have tons of sock yarn. Like, I never need to buy sock yarn ever again. But for summer garments specifically, I was kind of lacking. So, how did this start? So for Mother's Day, Logan got me, kind of funny story, a sweatshirt with cute little embroider on it, and then it said something that we didn't know was really bad until we looked it up in Urban Dictionary, and I was like, I don't think I can wear this in public or, you know, on Zoom calls for work. So we ended up returning it, and, you know, Logan was like, what else, you know, what would you want? Which I usually don't want anything. He's like, what if, you know, do you want the cash? Jokingly, and I was like, yeah, give me the cash. Because, yeah, so it was just like a set amount of money that I could spend on, you know, whatever I wanted to. Because, you know, as a mom, someone who is budgeting as a family, for our future family, for our current family, we don't have the same amount of want to spend on ourselves as, you know, when we could be filtering it back into like our family. Like, that's our priority right now. So it felt really good to have like a set amount of money to be like, this is going toward me. And so I felt I was like pretty stressed out about it as well, because I was like, what am I gonna spend this on? Like, I was excited about it but also stressed. Like, it was honestly burning a hole in my pocket. I was like, what do I want to spend it on? And at first I thought about yarn, and I talked myself out of it originally. I was like, you have too much yarn already, you don't need more yarn, you could spend this on like little treats, you know, going to coffee shops or whatever occasionally. Ultimately though, I walked in Joann's. We have a Joann's superstore at our town that we live in. It's great. It actually has a ton of yarn that stays there like acrylic, but then also has a lot of seasonal yarn that kind of rotates throughout the seasons. They had a bunch of summer yarn on sale, and I was like, oh, why did I come in here? But then I remembered, I was like, wait, no, I want to make summer stuff. I really do want to make more things for my wardrobe. So that's what I spent my money on, was yarn. But I'm really excited. So let me show you some acquisitions first, because it kind of rolls into what I'm currently making. Oh gosh, let me get this all. It's actually a lot of yarn. I think I spent like $30 on all this yarn because it was on sale. Look, so this is Eddie Bauer. What is it called? I have the label in a second. It's Eddie Bauer cotton, organic cotton. It's so funny. I've been seeing all these brands at Joann's. Like, I saw Juicy Couture. I don't even know how to say that word. Yarn, and like Lucky Brand yarn. I have no idea why they're into yarn, but I mean, this is the second time I've actually used Eddie Bauer yarn, not this specific blend, but I did use some for some socks for my Nana, maybe? Some like acrylic blend, and I really liked them. So I was like, you know what? It felt really soft. I decided to try, and they had all these pretty colors. Let me show you the label first so you can actually see what it is. So yeah, it's Eddie Bauer Adventurer Cotton. That is the official name. It's 100% organic cotton. The weight, it says light on here. And when I looked at it, I initially thought fingering weight, because get this, y'all, it has 590 yards. For 540 meters, 150 grams per skein. So I saw that and I was like, fingering weight instantly. I did look it up though on Ravelry, and it says sport weight. I do think it's on the edge of like heavy fingering DK, which I mean technically I guess is sport. Makes sense. So yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw these colors. I originally only went to Joann's once. Well, yeah, I went in the first time and I only came out with these colors of this specific brand of yarn. And I originally thought I wanted to marl them together. So it's this beautiful yellow. This is my favorite color of yellow. It's a little bit more saturated in real life than now, but it is very pale, banana-y, pina colada-y. It's just my favorite shade of yellow for the summer, I guess. And then just a natural shade. Let me see what their actual names are, though. So, Off-White and... here we go. Buttercup. Off-White and Buttercup. Those are the color names. So I was like, I want to marl these together. It'll be so pretty, so light. So your girl swatched. Where are my swatches? Okay. So I swatched it just with the US size 7 because I wanted it to be a little bit looser. I had no idea what I wanted to make at this point, mind you. I just knew that I really liked the color of yarn. And I liked the feel of it too. So I wanted to see how it felt together, marled. So here is my teeny tiny swatch. This is like my level of swatching. I did the literal least I possibly could. It's a 1 inch and then maybe 2 inches across. But I really just wanted to see what it looked like with the color, with the gauge, how it felt, and it feels really good. It feels so nice and so soft. It doesn't even feel like cotton to me. Yeah, I'm excited about this. But when I swatched, it wasn't high contrast enough for me. I just thought, you know what, it kind of washes out the yellow. And if I wanted a yellow top, I would just double up or knit the yellow single. But I decided I wanted something quick. Or quicker. I wanted like a fun, not chunky, but just breezy, easy peasy summer tank top project. Easy. So my mind started spinning. I ended up going back into Joann's. I got some other stuff the first time that I'll show you later. But I also got these two colors. And I was like, you know what, maybe these will be better marled. I can make multiple different tank tops. I can make some bralettes if I doubled it up or just knit it single. So these are called Buttercup, Off-White. These two are called Burnt Orange, which is interesting because it's not really orange, and Beach Glass. So to me this looks more like reddy, corally than orange, but you know, to each their own. Burnt Orange and Beach Glass. So I really love these colors and I love them together. So I did more swatching. And I decided I really wanted a high contrast marl for whatever project I decided to do. So I didn't really know what. So I marled these two together. This is that yellow and the teal color. Very pretty. And then I marled these two together, which is the yellow and the red. And I probably could have marled the red and blue together, but I just wanted a more high contrasty color. Because I figure whichever one I didn't use for this project, I could either marl with the white and still have like a high contrast marl, or like I said, knit a solid something. So I thought a lot about it last night and I decided I always knit with yellow and red, peach, warmer colors. So I thought, why not do something fun and knit with teal and yellow? I've really been liking blue and yellow together as a combo. So I just said, you know what, do it. This is a really long story, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you care about the origin of... I haven't even showed you yet what I'm knitting. But I have something else to show you first. So I really want to utilize what I have in my Ravelry, can never say that word, Ravelry library as well, besides just like yarn in general. So I looked through the patterns I had, and I knit a bunch of heavier weight patterns a few summers ago. I did a whole video about it, and like I barely wore any of the stuff I showed, but I did have this little top. This is called the, what is it called? If only I knew. I took a picture because I knew I would not remember. This is called Basic Knit Bralette. So this is a worsted weight pattern. It is, as you can see, a basic bralette with ribbing. It has a lot of negative ease. The straps, I did this so messy. They're just chained together and it has this like straight back. So yeah, I barely wore this. I did this really sloppily. I think I knit this in one day and like I just wanted it to be done. In the end, I was like, I don't really use this. So I thought, you know what? I could, however, use this pattern as a base because what I wanted was a v-neck short crop, crop top that's kind of loose. And then I wanted to knit longer, basically what I'm wearing, but like in worsted weight, a worsted weight gauge, with like longer straps, v-neck, loose, maybe not this loose, but loose, and no ribbing at the bottom. Just something easy I could throw on with like high-waisted shorts, you know? So I was like, you know what, this pattern isn't that. But I mean, the base is there. So I decided to knit this again, but I'm making major modifications. I will show you what I have. I mean, it's just a tube. But yeah, so I went with the yellow and the blue. I started this last night and it's going so quickly. Oh wow, it's really bright right now. It's not quite this bright, I don't think, in real life. But yeah, it's a really pretty yellow blue. I love the way that the reverse stockinette looks on the back too. I mean, I know that's not the right way, but yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm basically using this pattern as a guide. And I decided to not do ribbing, so I just started straight stockinette and I'm going to add an I-cord edge to the bottom at the end. And then I'm going to knit straight up for maybe 8 or 9 inches. And then this pattern, you split it halfway in the halfway point. So I think I'm just gonna double up. I'm just gonna knit the back. I'm gonna knit the front like so. Like it has little triangles, and then I'm just gonna knit the back the same way. And instead of, you know, doing this situation where this is totally cast off and you just like tie this in, I'm going to make it to where, is my camera being weird? I'm gonna make it to where I don't cast off the very end stitches for both sides, and I just knit an I-cord, however long, cast off, and then tie them together, so it's a tie top. And so unlike this one, which falls off because it's, you know, a little bit loose, and I don't have the capability to like, you know, take the straps up. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this a little bit different. Using it as a base. So it's gonna have, hopefully if I go through with this, it's gonna have I-cord straps that I just knit really long on both sides and then tie together, so I can have a way to adjust them if I need to, especially since it's 100% cotton. It might, you know, stretch and block it might stretch as I wear, or even stretch after I block. So I am making it a couple sizes up, so it'll be a little bit looser. I think if I were to knit this per the original pattern, because it has a bit of negative ease, I would knit the sides extra small, but I cast it on pretty loosely. I omitted the ribbing, and I am making the size medium. So I hope it works out. I'm really excited about it, and I have knit this, I haven't measured how much this is. I would imagine like 5 inches within an evening and a morning of knitting. So maybe this will be done soon. This is one that I am enjoying knitting straight stockinette, but also I'm just really excited for this product. So we'll see if, hopefully it's something fun I can wear. So yeah, that's that. Gosh, sorry, that was a really long story about yarn I bought. But I do have, you know, this color, and I'm thinking, because I'm knitting it such a big gauge with each strand of this like sport weight yarn, I might even have enough after it's left over to make like a bralette single strand with any of these colors. So yeah, I think I do want to marl these two together to make something, maybe another one of these bad boys if it turns out good, but the world is my oyster. So on that first yarn trip to Joann, I got some patons of linen. I got 2 skeins of this. It is DK weight yarn, according to, you know, Ravelry. It is 275 yards per 100 grams, so I mean, I feel like it sounds like DK to me. So yeah, I really like this color. What color is this? Does it say? sweet potato. This does sound like a sweet potato to me, but this is one of my favorite shades of reddy orange, brick red, I guess. I mean, it looks pretty similar to this color. Actually, almost exactly. I love knitting with this red, and I think this will make a really good transition tank top into the fall, so I could wear it in really every season. I just really like this color for every season, you know? Mostly right now, summer, late summer, fall, maybe winter, because it's Texas, spring. So yeah, I think this is a really good, almost, it feels like a neutral color to me, because I like it so much. It's not like a single season color. So I think I want to make the sole top with this. I'll probably insert a picture somewhere up here, but it is like a square neck situation tank top. It looks like folded hems. It just looks very polished and almost like a transition piece, like in between spring, summer. I think I could wear it, in between summer and fall, I could wear it layered in the fall. I could wear it without anything in the summer. So yeah, I think that'll be another cast on, hopefully, if I, finish stuff. Or maybe I'll just cast it on willy-nilly. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm hoping to finish this tank top this month, dare I say. My basic something bralette, modified heavily. I'm just kind of calling it my marled crop top internally, personally. So yeah, one thing I will note about this, I feel like it looks cool, like from the back, but up close, there's definitely spots it almost color pools because I have not been managing my colors at all. Like I haven't chosen like a dominant color to consistently work with, or I haven't been like flip-flopping dominant colors. I've just been rolling, like knitting, not caring about anything, and honestly, I think it looks fun. I'm just embracing the chaos. I'm gonna embrace any color pulling from the marling, but I mean, once you look at it as a whole, it looks pretty even though it's pretty chaotic. So yeah, that's all the yarn. I got a lot of yarn, y'all. For, I mean, about $30. That's like, I feel like I can make lots of stuff with this. And I honestly kind of want to go back and get more of the cotton, the Eddie Bauer cotton, because it's so nice. So I'll update you though once I, make this full garment with it and wear it. Maybe I can talk more about how it actually wears, but just like at the moment, I'm loving it. And it's also not splitty. The very first stitch I knit into last night, it did split, and I was like, what mistake did I make by buying all this yarn? But that was the only time it split. It's not super splitty. I've just been knitting, watching Bridgerton. So yeah. I do have one more acquisition before we get into like the book portion of this podcast, because I have been reading. But yeah, this was a brand collaboration with Lumos, I believe maybe I'm not pronouncing that right. With Lumos, but they have the Lumos knitting light. So they kindly reached out a couple weeks ago and asked me if I would be interested in just trying this out if they send it to me, and then, sharing my honest feedback in an Instagram post. Oops. Just turn it on. Which I did. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll try it. And honestly, I feel like I've just gotten really lucky with like the brands that have, the very few brands which have reached out and like I've worked with. They've all been very essential in like my knitting. They've become an essential part of my knitting journey. So I have not had like a neck light before, but this is what that is. And it's like you put it around your neck, and it's there's like a wire or something in here. It's it doesn't feel like a wire, like it's very comfy around your neck, but it's a neck light, like a neck craft light. I've never had one of these before. I did not know they existed before seeing like some of my knitting friends post about them themselves. So like I knew that they loved them from their posts. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it. And I have used this every single night for the past 2 weeks. It stays by my little nightstand by our couch, because whenever the clock strikes 7:38, Wilder's in bed, it is me time, y'all. It is me time. I'm on the couch in my fluffy blanket. I might have some tea with me. I'm either watching something and knitting, or reading. And so I've been using this a lot whenever I knit and read. At night, specifically. And I think it'd be really good for car rides too at night. So yeah, it has a lot of different settings, if you can tell. But yeah, I've been using this thing constantly. They gave me, I was gonna say they gave me a code and stuff, but I think it's expired now but in my post on Instagram if you want to go check it out, and maybe you'll get lucky and if you actually want one of these too. I did have a discount code, but anyways, yeah. This is my other kind, you know, gifted from Lumos, but little knitting craft light, and it has been essential. Did not realize how badly I needed light until I had this. We are a natural light family. Like, we don't use our overhead lights once it gets dark outside. We just have a little lamp. So yeah, I was lacking in light, and this helps. On to the reading portion. I am trying to get better at my reading synopsis. I know the last one was a letdown. I didn't talk too much because I got very nervous about spoiling stuff, but I think I'm gonna be okay this time. So I have been consumed. Oh, I finished the book I was reading. A Fate Inked in Blood. I don't know if I finished it last time. It was good. Like, it was good. Yeah, it wasn't like my top 5 or anything, but it was a good little fantasy read set in like Viking situation. This though has been consuming my mind. I read what is currently in the Light Lark series by Alex Astor. This is the second book that I just finished, but I think I read Light Lark and Nightbane in 4 days total. Like, it consumed me. Such a good, fun read. This is technically YA, although there is some, like, not adult spice, but some, like, spicy stuff in here. But I guess technically still YA. It was really good. What can I say? So, just a premise. This is, I almost want to say Hunger Games-esque, but I mean, not really. It is a book around breaking a curse, which just so happens to be done in like a game setting every 100 years on this island. So these people in this book, these characters, are rulers mostly, and I believe there's 5 rulers, and they're all rulers of their own people, and their people are broken up into different like territories or lands, but they're all have different powers. Like, they're the wildlings, which are kind of like forest people to me. Like, they are very in tune with nature, and their powers stem from nature. There's also starlings, I think. Sunlings. I honestly can't remember all the names. But yeah, so the reason the rulers have to participate in this game every 100 years is because their whole entire land is cursed, but they have one chance to break it every 100 years at this specific situation. And it's not like the Hunger Games because they're all rulers, and in order to break this curse, one of their rulers has to die. And in doing so, everyone connected to that ruler, all their people, will also die. So it's not like you're just killing someone. You're also killing like a group of people who make up this whole land of people. So it's more moral. It's not like every man for yourself. Whoever kills everyone wins, you know? It's not like that. So it's very interesting. And there are also different love interests. And I think the author does a really good job of making you first hate, because this is enemies to lovers. It's another trope of this book. She does a really good job of making you hate the love interests, multiple. And then she does a really good job of making you love all of the love interests without giving, too much away. So I just remember reading Twilight. I'm not sure if y'all were Twilight readers or watched Twilight growing up. It was a big thing. And everyone was very polar. Like, you were either Team Jacob, Team Edward. You were very, very, firm in your beliefs. I think as a young adult, I was Team Jacob, mostly for the looks. But as an adult reading them, I was Team Edward. It's like you have a very strong opinion. But for this book, I was like, if anything happens to either of these characters, like, I will die. So yeah, she does a very good job of making you love them all. It's a really good book. The characters are great. I highly recommend. Hopefully that was an okay synopsis. It was a very easy read. It was just really good. I thought about this book for days afterwards. Like, I was in book world for a while just thinking about it. So yes, I think there's a third one coming out. I want to say November, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so I mean within the next year, I think. So that's exciting. Yeah, love it. So after that, my sister-in-law, she actually told me to read those books. That was her recommendation. Thank you, Riley. She also told me to read The Serpent, and the Wings of Night. I have a really hard time saying this title. My friend, who also loves to read, has also told me to read this as well. This is by Carissa Broadbent. I've heard a lot about this book from multiple people who I'm close with. This is a vampire book, also set around games. Like a trial. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say, not games, but trial situation. And so yeah, the main character is a human. She is adopted by a vampire king. I believe he's a king. Yeah, he's a king. You know, is it predator or prey? She's human. Vampires love human blood, so like she is constantly just like in danger from the world she's in. And she's wants to go on this trial to, you know, I guess gain the power that she feels like she's lacking. But it's a trial with like hundreds, maybe thousands of other vampires. You know, she's the only human. So there's a lot going on. And this one is more of a Hunger Games style, like every man for yourself, you know. If you win these games, like you get like a something granted. I don't know. But yeah, it's not as moral as as Lightlark was with like the trial setup. So yeah, and it's very interesting. I have recently met what I think will be a love interest, and I really like the characters so far. There's also like friendships in this book that I'm enjoying reading about. And honestly, the main character's relationship to her adoptive father is very interesting. I think as a parent, I read it and I was like, oh, this is so nice. At least I hope it stays nice. But yeah, it's really good. Hopefully that wasn't too bad of a synopsis, but I'm enjoying this. I think I'm not quite halfway. It's a pretty large book, but I'm like a third in, and I started it 2 nights ago, so I'm in book mode. I'm excited to be in book and knitting mode. So yeah, that is it. I'm not sure how long this was. Thank you for listening to me ramble if you're still here. But yeah, thanks for listening. I hope y'all are well. I hope y'all are knitting on something fun or reading something fun. Let me know if you have any recommendations for patterns or books or whatnot. But yeah, I guess I'll see y'all next time.